Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in the second run as the Great Qing in Victoria 3 on what will be the last run for me in patch 1.8.7. In theory, the patch 1.9 is coming out in a couple hours, so I'm going to try to get this run done well before that gets out. And what we really got left to do is to maximize the GDP. We're up to 2.5, which is more than the last run where I screwed up and swapped over to proportional taxation far too early. And yeah, most of the techs I think are implemented at this point. So at this point we're just trying to find ways to get just that last little bit of revenue out of our country. Get everyone their deserved job, if at all possible. Oh, porcelain tax is pretty low, so I might just drop the porcelain tax. And then decrees-wise, we've got... Really the only degree we have out right now is greener grass campaign. Oh, it's cheaper in some of the subjects. Okay. So let's do a quick overview of the places we've got that implemented. So we've got it in those four and Yunnan. What's Yunnan's unemployment looking like? 10K. All the mines are fully manned. The open plantation's fully manned. The tea plantation's fully manned. So do we actually have any... Well, presumably we do have worker shortages, because otherwise... well, actually, no, we got 10K unemployment, right? So that might be... We might be at full employment. Yeah, we're at full employment. So maybe there's an argument here that we shouldn't... Oh, actually, we're not quite at full employment. We've got places like the arms industry that aren't full. Looks like most of the places are pretty much full. Some exceptions. I think the important stuff here is full. So let's go ahead and take the greener grass campaign off of Yunnan. That frees it up that we can move it to an oil location in a bit. Here we've got 3.78 peasants. Everything's basically filled up except for the military shipyard, which might not be full for other reasons than lack of peasants. So with that, you can go ahead and decide, yeah, we don't need that there anymore. Here we obviously are missing stuff. We need more people. We need more people to move here. We need better market access. Yeah, and it looks like some of that is we just need to expand the railway, because even if this gets hired up to full, we're going to be short workers. So we'll say we'll do that. That should probably be enough. But that means that's probably a place we shouldn't take the greener grass campaign off of. Helhong. Helongjiang? Helongjiang, yeah. Let's say Helongjiang. Here we've got 1,000 unemployed. We specifically have a power problem here, and a transportation problem. Oh no, it's being affected by the shortage. So the shortage here... Okay, so we need to fix the power shortage, which is quite a big jump. We're apparently short 10 things of power. Which then is going to become a problem of, do we have the people to work the power? And the answer is no, without taking from a different job, because we're only 1,000 people in. Okay, so we're not going to take the... Oh, well, it could be taken from the rye farm, I suppose. Don't think we want to burn the oil to make that a thing, but yeah. So as that hires up, I suppose we could take this off, and then we'll just take it from the... There are places to take it from, so we'll be good there. Yeah. North has all the industries full. In fact, it has 11,000, or it has 100,000 peasants at this point. So if it's not hiring, it's because of not being profitable. In which case, yeah, take greener grass off there. Now, along the process that we're thinking of is we want rubber. So where in our country are we making rubber? Should mostly be down here. And where in this portion do we have people shortage that's affecting the rubber income? Well, here, obviously, we got a bunch of logging camps that could be completed to produce more wood, which would actually be a good thing to do. And then we have, as a side effect, we also have a shortage of peasants, because it's going to be a few hundred more jobs, obviously, with no one to fill them. Mandalay, again, we got some logging camps there. Got no unemployed, got no peasants. So no peasants makes sense because there's no unused arable land. And there is jobs to sort of steal it from, but yeah, for the moment, let's go ahead. We'll decree that place up the greener grass campaign. You can get a bunch more wood. You also have no peasants. Let's think about some oil as well. So we got greener grass in you to get people in to do oil. The oil is full, so maybe this is a place where we can actually move on, not needing it so much. You do need more power, though. In fact, you need, like, 6 more power. So we'll leave the greener grass campaign because of that. Oh, and do you need more rails? No, you specifically don't need more rails because you have a port. This one, because it has no port, has a infrastructure issue with them ongoing. Okay, it's not that bad of an infrastructure issue, but one more infrastructure up there. And you need power. Oh, no, you don't need power. There is a shortage of railway. Yeah, so if that hires up... If you're having hiring problems, that's probably an indication that we need to do a greener grass campaign. And you haven't built your logging camps. Yeah. Oh, and you have the greener grass campaign already. Basara. How's it looking? You're full, but other things aren't. So let's greener grass campaign. Okay, let's get the game actually moving. And yeah, the big ones up here are rubber, oil, and iron. I think we've got the domestic built up. Maybe a question on, can we import more? And the answer is probably not going to surprise you. It's going to be heavily dependent on how to really do to actually operate more ports. Okay, we'll just queue up the rest of the ports because we just need more transport capacity to bring in more iron and stuff. One alternative is to just export less. Right, we could say stop exporting the cars. Got 16 members in the power block, and all of them right now apparently are my subjects. At least I think they're my subjects. So another thing we can do is I think we're less interested in the corporatist movement now. Got pretty much everything we want from it. So let's stop bolstering it. Let's instead pop over to the Royalist faction. Royalists can be enlightened Royalists, and we'd actually be interested in picking up some enlightened Royalists. Let's close for that. Okay, he stepped down to be replaced with a different ethno-nationalist. That wasn't quite what I was hoping. I told him to step down. We formed a party. Social Democrats. Okay, so a bit of a shame they're getting 1% of the vote. Yeah, bit of a shame they're getting 1% of the vote. We'll see if they get up, because they're having momentum issues. Not necessarily the fact that no one wants to vote for them. No, I say that, and we're apparently getting no voting events. Engaging the people.
Oh.
Momentum to the Social Democratic Party. Lower try to get happier. Lower class organizations. Political strength from wealth. Okay. Yeah, sure. Gets them up to 2% of the vote. I mean, we're also kind of... When the current monarch goes, the interest group of the monarch will be intelligentsia. Okay, so we have a way to get an enlightened royalist into the trade unions if we can make them a major component of the government. It's 2.6 billion. It may also make sense to do pass on government administration buildings. Get some of the unharvested taxes arranged for harvest. something like that. At this point, because we're trying to also finish out the game, as long as we don't completely run out of money, we can sort of just spend money. What do we still have over here? Mass surveillance would be a little more taxation capacity. Oh, it's a flat 25, so it's not a lot. That one's spreading to us, so we let that one just show up. You know what? We can grab our last research tech. Transition the university is over. So let's go through well, all the gold mines, obviously, but let's do the same with iron and coal. Let's just build all of them out in everywhere. Everyone needs their iron and coal mines, right? Okay, well that's enough of a queue for a moment. We'll let it build. Okay, so we can revisit taxation capacity. Build one everywhere we're under. Well, build one or everywhere. For 25 more won't bring it to full. Yeah, almost enough taxation capacity. Up to 2.7. Still possibly going up. Unemployed is down to 1.55 million. Still 0.7. So we've got like 9 million more people we can improve the employment of fairly easily. If we can figure out how to get them jobs where they are, or figure out how to get them to move to where the jobs are. That's a little interesting. Dropping one tax level is 4 million in lost revenue. Yeah. The economy might be a little bit big. Just a little bit. I'm gonna have the armed forces, so we're not paying actually very much for these guys, so we'll go ahead and mobilize. And use the same mass mobilization like that does reduce the number of peasants because they now come join the army. Yeah, I think we're reaching the point where it's getting a little bit of a struggle to get the GDP to go up. To be fair, what we're building personally is not necessarily going to help, right? Because it's we're building iron abroad in the hopes that they kind of export it to us, which is not quite how that works. And we don't really have the shipping capacity to import it either. Which is something that in 1.9 should be fixed. 1.9 we shouldn't have like, oh, we've run out of convoys and we can't build any more problems. Well, we now have you in government. Okay, that means we can make some very different governments. Bring in the literati, for example. Well, if we wanted to go to ethno-state, we could in theory do that now. We're not going to do that, but we could. We do have... Oh, we got some conflicting choices here. These guys like guaranteed liberties and protected speech, but I think the armed forces are opposed to that. Opposed to protected speech. Yeah. And strongly opposed to guaranteed liberties, yeah. How these guys form the same government, I don't know. But they do, and they're forming a stable one, so... Can we bring these guys in and not completely tank the government? Maybe. So let's bring them in. And then we can come over to these guys. Say, hey, come the head of them. That, if anything, made it worse. Okay. We're in the middle of an election cycle, and I'm just getting confused. No, the thing I changed just broke one of the parties. Okay. Is that a stable party? Not really. Okay, let's form that party for the bit. We managed to do that to bring these guys in. Bring him into that party. What we're hoping is we can get some more light and royalists to, say, fill out the literati or something. Kind of hoping this guy moves on. Oh, he has to not be part of government for that. Or for us to exile him, we can't even not be part of government. Okay. Let's give it some time. At least a lot of places are getting new iron mines. Whether or not they're going to hire up is an entirely different problem with the country I'm building them in, but, you know, France is just going to be like, what do I do with all those iron mines? I'm like, I don't know, I built them for you. Hope you enjoy. Let's do some more decrees over here to help backfill the oil wells. That one's... Well, that one actually needs some on the railroad, doesn't it? You'd be making... let's say 50 each. 8 levels should be making 400, which probably would be enough. So you're actually really having a power plant problem. Which maybe isn't surprising when no one's hiring up in the power plant, yeah. I'm wondering why these people are having market access issues. The answer is usually people have not hired themselves to important industries, yes. Okay, they won that portion of the war. Is their landing gonna go? No, it doesn't look like it. To be fair, at this point, the Germans are trying to force us just to go home and not take anything from them. So they're probably going to win that exchange. Because we just... all that needs for us to go home is just us to get bored and want to go home. Yeah, see. So if we really needed to import more stuff to make more things, we could just stop exporting things like engines. Got 4.5k engines that we could stop exporting. That would actually make sense. Let's stop that engine export. That frees up that ability for transport. See what the economy does with more convoys. In fact, actually, let's ask it specifically, can you go import some iron? Music to my ears. Gain some prestige, or be able to skin the prestige. Yeah, that isn't all bad. I think we can probably actually enact that. That wouldn't be too bad. We'll free up some more workers from basically anything that would vaguely be considered meat. Oh, that was a refrigerated storage. This is refrigerated rail cars. So we already kind of had that. Okay. I'm thinking of flash freezing, which is the next one. Which isn't spreading to us because no one's researched it yet. That's fair. In this case, we got something that we probably can... well... probably can make. Right, that's going to cost rubber... is... 150 times 200. That's about 3,000 rubber. We have the supply to support 3,000 rubber, so let's queue up some. Domestic, please. And what? 1,500, so... okay, saying it's not profitable at that point, let's stop chasing good with the bad. Or chasing the bad with the good. we want automatic expansion. Don't automatic expansion for those ones. And then same with engine setting. Analytical philosophy department for our universities. Meaning we get 120 more innovation. Because we can. Yeah, really struggling at this point to get the GDP to go up. We're kind of just building things to build things, I suppose. Well, also building things so that our capitalist class can buy them. So the capitalist class can continue to expand. We are also just uncomfortably close to full employment at this point. Don't suppose... Will our current government... No, that was the wrong one. Support getting a legal guardianship. Yes. Swap over to property woman first, and then we might get through the event chain for trying to get suffrage, women's suffrage. Because at this point, we just need more people. Yeah, in this case, we do have a full oil field here, for example, but barely. And there's things like farms to fill up with, like, thousands of openings. Well, I suppose I should just propose peace here, because we're not landing them to take that war support, so we can just wipe these them out. Get that war over. Okay, there's battleships spread to us. Let's think about wood next, or fish. Anyways, honestly, fish. Build all the fish supply around the world. Well, we have access to building. Most places this is apparently profitable, so more money for our ownership class. growth of the ownership class also. There we go. Give the entire fishing industry. We'll see that rebuilt. Okay, that war's over. I want to try annexing subjects. Probably no. The ones that would probably be the most interesting with integrating are probably in South America. Six more years to go. And yeah, we're definitely stalling on the GDP growth. It's not going particularly fast at this point. I think the standard of living is still going up slowly. Primarily due to the fact that we're swapping to more and more ownership class, which isn't necessarily GDP contributing. Nope, head back down. Okay. Not exactly what I wanted, but it works. Okay, the things that we're not able to switch is because there's no electrical power in the state at the moment. That will fix itself over time. Because we've got some electrical power queued up. Any more places we can import rubber from? That's not rubber. That's rubber. The answer is yes. Hello, Twitch Center. We're trying to finish up this Victoria 3 run before the new Victoria 3 patch drops. Seeing how high we can get the GDP. We're up to 2.7 before the end of the game. I suppose we should be importing oil. Importing oil from all the big people? Apparently not importing from America, so not importing enough. Do you know when I will be released? Steam implied a couple hours actually. It was like a few hours ago, it was like 6, so it's like 4+ hours out. Not very long now. And I suppose the next one is wood. Let's let the queue work for a bit there. In the meantime... Oh no, the power plant hasn't finished yet, because that's the power plant that we're thinking about. Never played King, actually don't play Great Powers. Possibly? What I'm actually doing is I'm just building things in foreign countries at this point, so hopefully they export it to me. My country isn't the whole world. My country is this yellow thing here. So it's I have what market access investment rights in a bunch of different countries. So I've just been building things in places I have investment rights in. Mostly the basic goods, so that I'm able to, in theory, import them. That's something that'll work better in the next patch. Is importing and exporting stuff should work better. Massive outbreak, the especially deadly strain of flu has broken out in Massachusetts. So we've got the American flu and the Spanish flu this game. And of course it's probably going to be around for the last bit of the game. Oh, we're almost down to 2 million people who are not gainfully employed as Great Qing. This is one reason to solve for property of women, is to get more people to work in various industries. There we go. Now Herat has electricity. And electrify the rail, not diesel. We don't have the oil for that. Electrify the railways. Arc weld the buildings. Yeah, you can almost see where the major change to standard of living started to kick in on the population growth. It's about to break 800 million people in China. Solidarity, sure, workforce ratio, not bad. I suppose I was really desperate for industrial expansion. We could start to reduce the rubber consumption in the tool workshops. We are oversupplying tools at the moment, so that's a little tempting to do. Assume we don't have any... Oh, it's not even showing up in the infrastructure building. It says we've built every last possible port in the country. Every last port's built. Okay. Let's look at the local demands. So, where are we short electricity? We're short 12,000 electricity in Jiangxi. Right now we're doing like basically pure renewables, which is 50 each. So 100 is 2, 1,000 is 20 times 12. So one, no, 240 electricity plants there. Though I don't know honestly how they're gonna fill that, because there's not that many unemployed in Jiangxi. But apparently Jiangxi needs that many people working the power plants. That one's a little bit more modest. That's just 100. And a bit. 100 and... yeah, electricity requirements. This is giving us something for all the direction secretaries to build. So it's something we can go running around to all the other nations and build their power plants for them. Okay. Now we got a queue 1,709 additional. We can hopefully leave that alone for a little while. Do we care about mass propaganda? Not really. Move down to mobile armor. Yeah, let's try beelining to mobile armor. So squad inventory is next. How much army do I have? Honestly, I haven't well, there's been a couple of armies we've taken over, but basically got the starting army for China, which is... go into the military tank. About 270 in this area, about 185 in this area, and about 30 up here. It's 44 now because we also got the Korean army added to it. And then the only thing I really changed, other than modernizing it obviously, is we set it up with conscripts. So I think for the Recognition War, I mobilized the entire nation's supply of conscripts and attached it to these two armies. So during war, if we're really planning to go hot, we mobilize a lot of guys, but otherwise the army is pretty small. 500,000, well, pretty small by China standards. By international standards, that's actually pretty big. And then you can raise quite a few conscripts. Then, from law standpoint, we haven't necessarily changed a lot. Most of them have been mostly economic. We've moved the landed voted. That's the only thing we did voting-wise. Well, yeah, at the beginning the techs aren't particularly great. At this point we've caught up because we've got enough universities to catch up, but you can see there's some weird laws that are in here. Like, I've been maximizing military goods cost reduction, so we've been sticking to peasant levies because we can. Because that makes the military goods fairly cheap. We're on old age pensions. We still have migration controls. We did get regulatory bodies, still in child labor laws, got the public healthcare, public schools, dedicated police, commercialized agriculture, proportional taxation, laissez-faire, that sort of stuff. Always, it's sort of the default stuff. Oh, here comes the flu. There we go, we got property women. Increases the workforce ratio. Socials and Democrats down here, only 3% of the vote. Yeah, China has a very large potential for an army. And with the military goods cost, can get a fairly cheap army for their given size. I haven't necessarily, other than getting out into Persia and getting down into Indochina, Haven't really been using it to fight any particularly powerful people. Oh, it looks like we need some government democracy. I'll push that to the top. There is no state that has both significant infrastructure and workforce. Okay, so yeah, we needed that workforce increase. New product restrictions, yeah. How many peasants left? We're down to just over 1 million peasants. And we've got a fairly large unemployment at 300,000, but that's fairly large for like normal nations. For China, that's tiny. And weirdly located in places where I'm doing lots of construction. So there's like Jiangxi probably has unemployment, but Jiangxi is also massive. Oh no, there's basically no unemployment there. But yeah, Jiangxi, 44.7 million people in one state. So I suspect most of my peasants and unemployed are still in some of the bigger states. And as a side effect, that's why there's still arable land left there for them to be peasants. Like, yeah, there's 100,000 peasants. All in one place. So it's a problem that a lot of the unemployed and peasants are probably in the Chinese heartland, where we'd kind of like them to be out in places like Fars to work opium plantations out there. And they're moving, slowly. It's not fast enough. Oh, we got up to 3 billion GDP. So I got asked in here with the goal of transferring Chile to me. Oh, we're at war with America. Okay, so that's where that's coming from. Well, I suppose we should mobilize and make it look strong and scary. .1 million peasants. And that's still less than 1% of the peasants. Or 1% of the population is peasants. But even less than that is unemployed. So that's doing pretty good. when this war starts, we're going to try to naval land Chile. I have to say, versus the last run, we're doing a lot better. We only got up to 2.2 billion in the last run. This one we're up to 3.1, so almost a whole another billion GDP. Yeah, I'm not super supportive of a regime change. Maybe convinced to end a trade agreement, but regime change is not very useful to me. And of course, then the Smash just come back around like, hey, can we have that back? It's like, yeah, sure. Lobby's been appeased. What were we doing in naval landing? What happened to that naval landing? Oh, the Admiral died. So the naval landing got cancelled, okay. And less than 1 million peasants. The peasant number keeps falling. Unified Beijing, cool. Just put that at the top of the queue. Then also we can come to the troops. Should just be able to say upgrade all. Squad infantry. It's gonna take a little while to do, but shouldn't be a problem. Landing against the Chileans. Squad. Actual attack ability is good. Yeah. I'm bored with that. Oh, the flu pandemic actually ended early this time, so we didn't have to suffer it to the end of the game. That's good to know. Love how I've instituted laws that should make the workforce grow, and the workforce is actually still shrinking. The unemployed components of the or underemployed components of the workforce is still shrinking. Yeah, as soon as we finish census suffrage, we're definitely gonna have to try to go for women's suffrage, or even more employees. On the street. Yep, 3.2. So we made a whole billion more than last time, and we still got 3 years to go. Yeah, I think that's a line that's not going to work. Well, it might be worth getting the government bureaucracy more expanded so we can actually grab the last healthcare one. Strongly endorse women in the women's suffrage for them. Don't have them government though, otherwise that'd be an easy pull. Oh, we could drag them in the government. That wouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let's drag them into government. And then once they're in government, we can come over and say, you... Never mind. To enact women's suffrage is required to get the feminist into the position where they can enact women's suffrage. Okay. Has your naval landing succeeded or failed yet so I can do it better? Not worth white. Okay. So my assumption is that presumably it has. Oh, because we've won the American portion of it. We're just well, we didn't have a front. We knew how to. Okay, there we go. Chileans are now a subject. So living is 21.6. Do we have enough to go up yet? No, because we're big enough. We need a little over 8,000 to go up. Just got the poor huddled masses for the second time, I think, in the run. Again, I think also migration from Japan for the second time. There we go, there's centrist consensus suffrage. Okay, so we can press that button. Then over here, we're going to swing for women's suffrage. So we get another 10% workforce ratio. That hopefully will give us enough people that we can continue growing the GDP for the last couple years of the game. Average GDP per capita is getting close to 4. cruise, more kill rate. Everything we need to go for mobile armor. Tanks, radios, small arms, ammunition, and oil input. Oil input's probably actually the most annoying thing of that. $3.3, so we're already 50% more GDP than the last time. Let's lower the taxes some. In fact, we probably got enough that I can just go ahead and just lower taxes. One last buff to the consumer demand. Up to, well, apparently up to 3.6. Okay. Something apparently about lowering taxes causing the GDP to rise. Granted, it's lowering taxes causing a deficit, so there's more money in the economy causing causing GDP to rise. It would be technically an unsustainable GDP rise in the long run. Hello, Twitch chat. We're trying to finish up this game here as the Great Qing in patch 1.8.7 before 1.9 comes out tomorrow, or well, depending on where you are in the world today, but later today. So it's going well. We part of the point of this run was to see how high we could get GDP as China for the end game. The previous time I attempted this, I screwed up with the swapping over to proportional taxes too early. As a side effect, sort of stunted the growth, and we only ever got up to 2.2 billion in that run. This time we're up to 3.6, so we got the GDP up more than 50% higher than we did in the previous time, so that's pretty good. At this point, we're just waiting, just watching the tax, or watching the construction go. Arguably, we actually need more construction. Do you have any places that actually have... well, peasants are probably no. Every place with... Let's sort by peasants. So you got enough for some. So that'd be like 28 we can get there. It's close enough to do the whole set. Yeah. And then unemployment we can sort by, so we can get about 13 there, 3 there, 3 there. Okay, that's all we're going to be able to do from a construction standpoint. Calling us to war with another guy, sure. Or at this point, we're trying to pass women's suffrage. It's probably a little bit too little, a little bit too late. It's probably not going to make a big difference on the end GDP. But just to get more people employed, transfer over to women's suffrage. For the 10% more workforce ratio over the previous law. A little bit more and we'll take over into 3.7 billion people. Or 3.7 billion GDP. There we go. I think it's 1936, not 1935 that the game ends. So I think we got like a year left. If I got my dates right. Which might be enough to actually pass women's suffrage here. Now, whether or not that will really affect the workforce in that amount of time is a different question. At this point, we can probably let the civilian queue take over and just stop queuing more stuff. They've got a queue of 330 something things, so they can have the entire construction queue if they need to for the last year here. Try to get their stuff done. Mobile armor. Suppose we had time to implement tanks. That'd probably be something we should do. But in practice, I don't really have time to build the tank factories, so we're just not going to. There we go. Women's suffrage, deeds, not words. Just completed. Probably achieved that before because I've done women's suffrage before, but there we go. 15% workforce ratio, 33% disenfranchisement, or dependent enfranchisement, and it does reduce birth rate, but I don't think birth rate is a very determining factor this close to the end of the game on how many people you have working. Granted, to complete call for women's suffrage, we now need to have an election, and I'm not sure if that's going to, happen where the game ends at this point. Don't know when the next election is. October up to 3.72 billion. I think that's probably right about there where we're going to end up ending. With less than 100,000 peasants and unemployed kicking around. Do I know when it will be released? I assume you're talking about the 1.9 patch. Probably the best place to check that is Steam. But yeah, it should be being released a couple hours from now. As soon as the run's done, I'll try pulling up Steam and checking if you want to hang around that long, but it was a couple hours last time I checked. No, I suppose that was a couple hours ago, so anytime in the next hour or so, probably. And that should be it. Victorian century. Game over. See all the stats at the end. Gross domestic product. Looks like it came from 0, but I think it's technically like 100 million GDP as China starts out with. We got up to 3.74 billion. So basically increased the GDP over the century by 37 times. Raised the standard of living from like 11 to 23. Prestige went up as we started becoming the dominant market person, and basically every good. Population went up. Still had quite a few laborers, but we've basically got all the peasants employed. Most of the political strength was in the clerks and the shopkeepers. A little bit in the engineers. Mostly Han, which doesn't surprise me. That's the main Chinese pop group. Mostly Confucian. That one's maybe a little bit more surprising because I think they start mostly Mahan at the beginning of the game, but okay. So had some people asking when is the patch supposed to drop, and probably the easiest way for me to check is to see when the DLC is available. Trades of Commerce. So Steam thinks 3 hours. So if you're watching on Twitch right now, Steam's thinking is about 3 hours. So if you're on West Coast time, it's probably 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. when it's supposed to come out. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, because YouTube's getting it recorded, it's something like 3:30, 3:40 in the morning. 3:30, 3:40 a.m. in the morning on the Tuesday that 1.9 comes out that we're finishing this run. So yeah, hope that answers the question that we had in the chat, which is when will it be released? And the answer is Steam's thinking in about 3 hours. Now, it's rounding to the hour, so I don't know if it's 6 or if it's 7, but either way, I'm going to be asleep when it comes out. my goal was to get this done before 1.9 comes out, and then this will probably sneak in the 1.9 version. This will probably sneak in the schedule after Europe Universalis finishes, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think that's Thursday. Well, that's when Europe Universalis 4 will finish, and then it'll come back around 4 days after that. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Probably start recording this again Monday. So I hope everyone has been enjoying. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely a bit better this time on trying to get it up. We'll see how this compares to 1.9. I suspect that a lot of the problems we were having in the late game with trying to do international trade would be a lot easier in 1.9 to deal with, to such a degree that I'm very interested in seeing what the difference is also between having the DLC and not having the DLC yet. So the first run I'll probably end up doing will probably be without the DLC, partially because I'm a penny pincher and not going to pick the DLC up right away. But yeah, that'll probably be my first run. It'll probably just be DLC-less and see how does 1.9 without the DLC compare to 1.8.7. I suspect it should be fairly plausible to get back up to 3.74 billion, not higher in that patch as well. That's what we'll see. So yeah, I hope everyone has been enjoying. For watching on YouTube, this is where this is ending. This wasn't a regularly scheduled stream either, so the next time Victoria 3 comes up, it probably will be a regularly scheduled stream. If you're watching on Twitch, I hope you've been enjoying. This is where this run ends. If you want to see any of the early parts, they're probably all still up in the Twitch VODs. The whole run, it should be up there at that point. Should be getting these uploaded fairly quickly to YouTube, and I'm planning a pretty aggressive release schedule because people probably don't want to see 1.8.7 content after 1.9 is out. But the point was to get the run done, to serve as a comparison point. So people aren't probably going to be very interested in it after a couple of weeks, anyway. So we're going to have a pretty aggressive release schedule. And with that, if you've got any more questions in Twitch chat, now's a good time to leave them. In the meantime, I'm going to wish YouTube a good time. So until next time, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. And bye for now. Well, next stream, next video, next game. Bye for now.